My name is Chessie Ricca. Welcome to the next episode of Local Knowledge. Today we're going to focus on the history of Rood and Philo Farms. And we're actually out here today looking at this really old, cool barn. I don't exactly know what it was used for, but there's a lot of bamboo around it. There's some mangoes around it and a ton of invasive species. You see some dog fennel out here.
Rood was a small agricultural settlement established around 1913 to 1915 west of Jupiter, Florida, originally platted by poultry farmer Edgar Philo as Philo Farms, and sold sight unseen to settlers from the Midwest, including Homer and Sophia Rood, for whom the community's post office was eventually named. For a few years in the mid-1910s, it was a real functioning farm town with a school, sawmill, hotel, and a recurring newspaper column chronicling daily life. So this is an image of Rood from one of the 1940s aerials from the UF Digital collection. And I wanted to go over it just so we can get an idea of what Rood looked like. I just zoomed in. So this is Indiantown Road, where it sits presently for the most part, other than a road widening projects. And this is the old Indiantown grade, which you can see reconnects over here. So this is the old Indiantown grade and then the new Indiantown Road. And right here, this is Jupiter Farms Road. And these are the farms that would have existed. So this is the main road going into Rood, and if you follow it north, you'll get to the area where the Griffith House was and the post office. There's another road today that runs parallel. There's a parking lot here, and it's called Gulfstream Citrus Road. But these are still hiking trails today. This is all farmland. There looks to be like a little trail here that goes into these farming areas. And the road continues until it eventually stops. It's called Cypress Creek because this is Cypress Creek that comes off the Loxahatchee. And it was a lot bigger back then than it is now because of the canals that were dug and the drainage that took place. But there's some really cool stories about how wide Cypress Creek was in some areas and how big some of the cypress trees were, and it's kind of dry for the most part today. Just a really cool place. I wish I had a chance to see what it looked like. Some of these old roads look really neat. Looks like there was a house there at one point. Some farmland. And the road just kind of stops at this fork of the creek there. In 1915, the settlement got a post office. Family legend passed down through the Roods says Sophia Rood was the first postmistress, and that's why the place was named Rood. But the actual federal appointment record names a different woman, Pearl Damon, as the first postmaster in September of 1915, with Anna Griffith taking over in 1917. In this article from the Stuart Times from 1964, it states, in 1915, when Philo Farms was proved a real estate hoax, the post office established in that area was named Rood. This offers a different story. According to Mike Culpepper, Roy Rood said the post office was on the front porch of the Griffith family house, sorted into a wall of little wooden cubbyholes. That house is gone now, but its chimney stood alone in these woods until it finally collapsed in 2023. Families shipped tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and beans north to market. The most famous resident was Mrs. W.H. Taylor, who won prize after prize at the county fair for her preserves, and who owned a family heirloom grandfather clock that tradition said had once belonged to President Zachary Taylor himself. By 1919, Homer Rood took a job closer to Jupiter, and the family moved off of their original homestead. Then in the winter of 1923, Homer Rood was killed in a road accident having been struck by a delivery truck. He left behind Sophia and 11 children, and the youngest was barely a toddler. Sophia took over the U.S. mail contract running through Rood to support her family. Her eldest son, Harlow, did much of the actual driving, with 2 younger siblings riding along every day so they wouldn't get left behind. Over time, the truck started falling apart. When the Palm Beach Post found out the family was about to lose their only source of income, the paper ran a public fundraiser, and within about a week, the community raised $500. Sophia got her truck and kept the mail running. That wasn't the only unfortunate thing that happened at Rood. When Martin County was created out of the northern portion of Palm Beach County, the new county commissioners began to neglect the area of Rood. Resident farmers were desperate to get their bridges rebuilt and roads repaved, but unfortunately, due to Rood's remoteness, it made it nearly impossible. By 1929, William Taylor, who was over 80 by that point, wrote that the roads were so overgrown drivers couldn't see them and cars kept ending up in the ditch. In 1930, the Taylors lost a 6-year-old orange grove to a fire set by trespassers. There was one more round of petitions that came through around 1931, but the silence from Martin County ultimately led to Rood's demise. The post office closed for good in 1934, and in the 1940s, a man named Cecil Johnson moved into one of the abandoned houses and ran cattle on the land for decades. Palm Beach County later bought a piece of it for conservation, and today, part of the old Rood tract is protected as the Cypress Creek Natural Area. This photo, taken in 1989, was shared with me by Mike Culpepper. He wrote, "It was taken in front of an old stable barn area over in Philo Farms. Roy Rood used to sponsor a Pioneer Coffee every year, and a lot of the old Jupiter pioneers would attend. We knew the Rood family quite well, and Roy knew the Culpepper cattle was running cows on Philo. After the coffee in 1989, we all loaded up into our cars and drove out to Philo so that Roy could take a look at what the property looked like now."
We're looking at the remnants of a house. So this is the chimney that was owned by the Griffith family. So previously this was thought to be the Rood residence, but local historians researched that it actually belonged to the Griffith family. It's like kind of spooky hiking in here because there's so much hog rooting. I think that's all hog rooting, all over hog. The rooting's like kind of fresh, but it's not super fresh like me. Glass. Oh my God, glass. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. Oh, is that metal? Oh, we got metal. Oh, that looks like a beer can. Looks like, oh. No, it's a leaf. Psych. But what's really interesting sometimes is even though pigs are devastating to local land, they sometimes dig up history. We get to look at it on the surface. I just like to observe and like study and then walk away. Well, we're getting to the end of my, there's a full water bottle, to the end of my road here.
Thank you for watching this episode of Local Knowledge on the brief history of Rood in Jupiter Farms, Florida. Our next episode will again focus on the old Jupiter Indiantown grade and current issues facing public usage of the trail. If you like this content and want to see more, please comment, like, and subscribe. I always want to hear public thought.